One of the most complex subjects that we humans have ever encountered is our own body and mind. What has been really fascinating is the architecture of human body is incomparable to anything that we have encountered in the world. So for human body has over 7 trillion nerves. Compare that to an airplane. It has about 4 million individual parts. The functioning of the body, the metabolic events, and how the food can influence the human body is a subject of fascination for humans for a very long time. So they called it, over years, people tried different kinds of food, and they perfected the cuisines and recipes and understood the benefits of food and the impact of food, and hence the term, you are what you eat. Now, we all eat what we like, so in the modern world. So that has come with a lot of perils, which is a food has shown that not eating the right kind of food has a detrimental impact to your body. Now, in this modern world, one cannot escape processed food. Now, technically, what is processed food? A food that actually is altered from its original state is a processed food. By that definition, the food you cook at home is also processed. Well, it's cooked, it's mildly processed. Why do you process it? Because you can actually make it more digestible, and processing makes easier for the nutrients to be absorbed. Now, that applies for mildly processed food. Now, what happens is, in this modern world, we actually like the food that gives us a much more better flavor, texture, and it looks great, so appealing to us. So our eating habits are largely determined by what we like and what we see. And this has caused a health impact in the modern world. And particularly in the West, you have large incidents or ongoing instances of obesity and not as much of a lack of nutrition. There is a high degree of incidence that contributed by excess nutrients and body getting overloaded, and not having a good balanced diet. Processed food, in general, is something that the industrial society cannot escape with. It offers a convenience. It also offers the cost, and it's something that the society would need as the population has grown, because it is incredibly hard for everybody to consume processed, fresh food all the time. So in our journey, we looked at how we could actually make the processed food better. Now, you have the mildly processed food on one hand, and you have the highly processed food on the other hand. So we came across the technologies which are actually impacting the processing technologies which are impacting the food. The age-old technology which has been used for over 150 years is called a retort technology, which is commonly used all over the world. And this is used to keep the food safer to eat for a very long period of time. The objective was only to make the food edible. Now, as a result, what actually happens to the food is you have a food which is altered from the natural state, and it is kept in a package, but it is kept for a longer period, but it is deprived of the nutrients. So it has 40% less nutrients, and it may not be as healthy as the original food in its original shape, which is a whole food, or the fruit, or a vegetable, or just after it is freshly cooked. This was a problem which we wanted to solve. So our journey took us to explore some of the emerging technologies out in the world to see how could we make homemade food just as fresh as it is when it was made, and extend the shelf life so we can bring it out and give it to people, and they can all consume the food and without adding any preservatives or additives. And this journey took us to explore various technologies, and finally we came across what is now called a high-pressure processing technology. This was something which the scientists have discovered back in the 19th century, and it was largely used in academia. And in our research, we brought that technology back, and we were able to use that technology to prove that food can be kept fresh for a longer period of time. And how we were able to accomplish it is by using a scientific principle where you exert isostatic pressure on food packets, and pressure destroys the pathogens, which then give us a shelf life of the food. Now, in destroying the pathogens, it leaves all the nutrients intact. Now, that is the beauty of this technology. So this has never been attempted before, and in our experiments, we succeeded. And in late 2019, we were one of the first companies in the world to actually launch HPP processed food in India. And in 2023, we came out with a whole bunch of ready-to-eat products which actually have a higher degree of vegetables without any preservatives. And they, for the first time, they actually stay fresh for a longer period of time and retain that kind of nutrients. So this invention, which we were very delighted to bring it out and put it out in India on the global map of one of the modern inventions of the scientific food technology. Recently, we ended up achieving that. We ended up achieving the longer shelf life on products like hummus, and this can actually, we proved that it can be scaled to a multiple range of Indian foods, starting from biryanis to idlis and a whole bunch of food that people enjoyed all these years, but so far did not find a way to consume it in a healthier format. So we are delighted to be able to present this, and this proves that if you have an idea which you think however grand that idea could be, that could be taken up, and over a period of time through rigorous effort, you can work on that idea. And eventually, when you succeed, you can beat your expectations, and it can exceed some of the pre-thought expectations. And because you're actually going on a scientific path with the only objective whereby you would like to achieve those goals, and staying true to that will help you to achieve your reach the final destination. And this destination for us is what we actually define this whole process as the alchemy of our success. And we are glad to be here presenting our story, and thank you for having us.